We welcome you to another live edition of the Sports Box, brought to you by our sponsor, Showcase Sports in Hamilton. Showcase Sports for the elite athlete. And by our friends over at CrowdPlay. Download the free CrowdPlay app today and check them out at www.crowdplayapp.com for details. Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
On smoke, it's all about the cash flow. So come on and get this money, man. Getting paper and we always do it major on the slow, you know it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Game Winning Drive. I'm your host, as always, Drew Trammell. I got my boys with me, as always. I'm never alone. I got my boy Brant Meeks, who's laying down, acting like he just got done having surgery. And Ryan Vigil here in the bottom, man. As always, Alex has had to miss another week. Hope he gets better. We'll definitely hopefully have him next week. Before I get into your guys' weekend, let's break down the show for tonight. Obviously, this is like Christmas today for us boys. NFL schedule was released today. Washington football team, we know what they're playing. We're going to show you guys in a little bit. We also got all the primetime games for this year. 5 games, primetime games to the Bucks, and 5 primetime games to obviously the Dallas Cowboys, which is always the norm. And then we got the Chargers for me and Ryan. Alex is, we're not going to do the Browns, so we don't care. One less team to have to worry about. We're also going to talk about Tebow Mania, boys. Obviously, Tebow is close to signing a 1-year deal with the Jags. Is it fair? Is it foul? We're going to talk about it. We're also going to talk about the Colts signing offensive tackle Eric Fisher. Was that a good signing or a bad one? We're also going to get into Aaron Rodgers and the supposed rumor of $45 million a year that was offered to him for a 3-year extension. We're going to get into our power rankings, and then hopefully, I think my boy's going to make it on time. Leo Luna, one of the writers, one of the representatives for Sports Illustrated for San Francisco 49ers, is going to stop by, and we're going to have a little roundtable talk about the state of the NFL and the state of the San Francisco 49ers. A bunch to get into tonight. Brant, how are you doing, man? How's your nuts?
They're good. A little sore. Still, it's day 2 after the vasectomy, so it's. Okay. I'm alive. That's for sure. A little swollen.
That's good. I'm glad that. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about your nuts, Ryan.
I don't want to talk about them either. Ryan,
how was your weekend, brother?
Good. I'm having a hard time concentrating. I'm just thinking about Brant's nuts now at this point. No, it was good. It's laid back, chilling. It's good to have a nice weekend off of doing nothing. So it was good.
Good, man. Good. Boys, let's get into it. Austin. Yeah, Austin also is a fellow vasectomy, a surgery survivor. So you guys got that in common now. Boys, let's get into it. As always, we are on the Sports Box platform. So you want to give a little bit of the bottom of the ticker. You can see that we will be having constant things going on during the show. Guys, first down, hot route, always. Let's review and discuss the 2021 NFL schedule. What is your biggest game of the year that besides your team? And what primetime game are you disappointed in? Or, anything that you're disappointed at all. Brant, let's start with you as I pull up the schedule for the primetime games.
My primetime game that I am really excited about, and I'm probably going to be I'm probably not going to be one of the only ones, is Week 4. Tom Brady gets to go back to New England. I think that's a pretty exciting game because the Bucs are going to mud stomp them. And, I don't know if anyone else hasn't understood this, but last year Tom Brady put to rest whether it was Brady or Belichick winning games in New England, right? Like, do y'all feel the same way? Because I feel like it was Brady carrying that team. And so he gets to go in there, and, he's going to beat Bill badly. It's going to be at least a 20-point win just because Tom Brady is going to run up the score like Bill would. My least favorite game is actually a Thanksgiving game. And that's the Raiders and Cowboys. Like, I'm not overly excited by that. Nothing about the Raiders gets me excited this year. I think they're going to be pretty rough. But a sneaky bad game is week 2. If the Packers haven't figured out their Aaron Rodgers stuff, that game versus the Lions would be pretty much a snooze fest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Yeah, it's definitely going to be some snooze fests for sure. Also, for me personally, the biggest disappointment for me is Thanksgiving. It just collectively, it's just disappointing to me. I don't like it at all. I want to eat my turkey and my mashed potatoes and my freaking buns and drink a tall glass of soda and not be able to watch whack ass games. And that's what we got on Thanksgiving. Brant hit on a little bit. I'm gonna try to get to it real quick. There's a game on there. Where's it at? That's Christmas.
Week 12 is Thanksgiving.
Week 12? All right, thank you. Yeah, so like Bills and Saints, I think the Saints are not going to be that good this year, boys. So it's not a good game that I'm looking at. I think the Cowboys Raiders are horrendous, and then you got the worst game of all, which is the Bears and Lions. I'll be playing turkey football during that game, so I'm not worried about that. But Raiders and Cowboys and Bills and Saints, maybe last year this would have been great for Bills and Saints for me, but overall, man, I'm just not happy about the slate of the Thursday games, guys. And then for me, I'm sorry for the Thanksgiving games. And then for me, man, I am kind of ecstatic for Christmas, boys. We get a double header. We got the Browns and Packers, as you guys can see right there on the screen. We got the Browns and Packers, and we got the Colts and Cardinals. 2 solid games. Possibly, we're talking about 4 teams that most likely will be in contention, unless Aaron Rodgers wants to retire. Then that's another story for another day. But those 2 games look great to me, so I don't mind opening up some eggnog with some vodka and watch those games, man. I'm a little excited about that. And we also get the NBA. That's another bonus treat. Ryan, tell us what you got.
I'm full on with Brant, man. October 3rd. Sunday night game, Tampa Bay versus New England. You get Brady going back to New England. The amount of narratives that are just going to be in that game in general about him going back and playing against Bill. They're obviously the better team. Are they going to run up the score? What's it going to look like? Are they going to shake hands? Is it going to be conversation? I can't wait for it all, and I'm super, super excited. To also piggyback with that, actually, the following week, week 5, we got the Bills at KC, Mahomes versus Josh Allen. These are, in my opinion, 2 of the better teams in the NFL, and it's going to be a slugfest on the offensive coordinator, and I'm thoroughly excited about it. I can't wait for that. It's going to be head-to-head matchup there. In all honesty, week 1, man, what are we doing? The Bears versus the Rams, week 1? That's what we're excited for? I get that. I think the mentality is like, all right, let's get these guys the opportunity to get a little better. They don't want to have their big primetime guy. Like, this game's going to sell. It's the first week of the season. Everybody's going to be watching. It doesn't matter who's playing. So they put in a snooze fest on there for us fans. It's very disappointing, but it is what it is. I feel like I get what the mindset is from the NFL, but that is absolutely terrible. Terrible. But I digress.
Yep, I agree with you. So looking at the schedule, I'm talking to a bunch of my boys on group text. Chargers, as of right now, they're in the middle of the pack when it comes to strength of schedule. I think it's 16th. I don't want to quote myself on it, but Brant, did you get a chance to see what your strength of schedule is for Washington?
I didn't, but looking at it, like, I'm not looking. Oh God, it is rough because I was looking at it earlier today, and I'm like, cool. In the first 9 games we play, we get the Bucks, Packs, the Packers, Chiefs, and the Chargers. So like the first week, like, I think we could pull the upset against the Chargers. It's a possibility just because it's the first week. You never know. But yeah, no, I'm out of the first 9, I'm looking most likely 5-4.
5-4?
Yeah, but that's a rough stretch. And then one thing I found weird is the last 5 games of our schedule. It's a week 14 is the Cowboys, week 15 is the Eagles, 16 is Cowboys, 17 is Eagles, week 18 is the Giants.
I hate when they do that.
Our last 5 games are all in their division. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, man. Go ahead, Ryan. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you, man. You know who has it tough the first 5 games? I'm looking at it because just one of my good friends is a Colts fan. Check this out, dude. They got the Seahawks, the Rams, the Titans, the Dolphins, and the Ravens.
That's a solid stretch, man.
Yeah.
Golly, dude.
With a brand new quarterback.
Right? With their brand new quarterback. I don't know if they're I'm looking at it right now. Okay, here we go. 2 at home, the first 2, and then the next 3 is away. So they got to go to Tennessee, they got to go to Miami, and they got to go to Baltimore.
That's a tough stretch.
Is rough. That is rough. Ryan, tell me about give me the Chargers for us, and tell me what the first 5 weeks look for us.
Let's see. We are at Washington, then we're home against the Cowboys, at the Chiefs, home against the Raiders, and then home against the Browns. That feels like a solid stretch to me. I actually like getting these tough games out of the way early. Like, Cowboys are to be seen. Chiefs, Raiders always play. They could be the worst team in the league. They're going to play us good. That's just the way the Chargers, Raiders always go. And then I can't wait to see the Browns. That's week 5, Alex, that week. Oh, man, we're going to be all over that. So I'm hoping we pull off an upset. They're the better team right now, but I'm excited, man. It's going to be this is on day 1 when you get the schedule. You start looking. Everybody's going to put out, we're going to be 7 and da-da-da-da-da. I love it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Garth, a fellow Charger and a fellow sports box. Sweet, I believe it's called Sweet Tea on Friday nights. Yo, what's good, guys? What's good, Garth? Paul Allen, 5-4, very homer outlook, brother. He's talking to you, Brant.
I feel confident in that. Like, I don't think we're going to beat any of the big 3 teams, but I'll give us 5 wins. I think we have a great defense.
So, Ryan, can you tell me again, Chargers? So we got week 1 against Washington football team. That's a win. Week 2 is what?
Cowboys at home. That's a win.
That's a win. Week 3
at Kansas City.
That's a loss.
That's a loss.
Week 4
at home against the Raiders. That's a win.
That's a win. That's 3-1. Okay. And week 5
at home against the Browns.
That's a win. I'm going to go 4-1 for the Chargers in the first 5.
Okay. I'm on board with it. I love it.
Yep.
Love it.
I'm trying to get the Raiders Stadium. Let me tell you something, guys. I have looked at the tickets when they came out. $800.
They're stupid expensive.
$100. So look, check it out. I was planning on doing a trip with Austin to go to Philly this year because Chargers play in Philly. And I'm gonna tell you now, if it's too much, I'm not going. I'm gonna tell you now. I got it. I was gonna stay at Brian Tard's house, but I don't think it's gonna happen, man, because I ain't affording $800 to go watch a game. I'll sit my ass at home with my 70-inch TV watching the game. Yeah, not including the bottles, exactly, Paul. Not even the VIP where the new Raiders suite is on the field level, where it looks like it's a club.
You know what? Hey, let's touch on that for a second. How do we feel about that?
I love it.
Okay, I am impartial. I love the idea. Hey, if you're in Vegas, play that card. You know what I mean? You're the only team that has the opportunity to do it. So live into it. But here's the reality: the Raiders had to leave Oakland because nobody was going to the games. Do we genuinely think that they're going to be selling out in Vegas at that price point? We'll see. I don't think so.
I get what you're saying, right? But for me, personally, this is a different atmosphere. Las Vegas has been dreading for a home for a team for hundreds of years. Let's just say hundreds of years. Also, big move by them on a side note. I know, Brant, you can tune in. Side note for them, I pray to God they get the athletics. I pray to God they get the athletics, because then
they should.
Vegas becomes bigger. It becomes more of an attraction, and I love the athletics just from a baseball fan standpoint. They're like the San Diego Chargers. Their stadium is trash. It's so like bad. Qualcomm. It's worse than Qualcomm.
It is, but they've actually got fans in Oakland.
No, they don't.
Fans. They do.
They don't sell out.
They've got history. No, come on. But no, you're right. Like, Vegas is a huge destination. You look at Vegas is a huge destination. The way they embraced hockey out there and sold out and made the playoffs, like, they are dying. Yeah, I know. My team won the championship that year. Yeah. No, but they're dying for sports out there. Like they embrace it. Yeah, I think that's why they go with the price point so high. People are going to pay it. Yeah, Floyd Mayweather will drop like a bag of money on the front desk and be like, cool,
I'll
I
tell
got
you
my
this.
friends, we're going.
So I'm 35 years old. Of my 35 years, I lived a total of 5 years in Las Vegas. So I'm very familiar with the land. I know all about it. Now, here's the issue: is the Raiders, they just don't go to their own games. Like you're really gonna have to rely on whoever's playing there. When Washington goes there, that's where DC fans are gonna make. If I'm gonna travel to a game, I'm going to Vegas. So I think they're gonna have to rely a lot more on that than their own actual city selling out. It's my opinion. I know it. I live there. There's a lot of Raider fans, but if you go anywhere in the country, there's a lot of Raider fans. I have a hard time seeing them sell out. I think it's going to be an issue. But
Paul Allen said tourist.
hey, people will travel a couple because you get people from Utah that hate the Broncos. They'll go down there because I lived in Utah for about 2 years. And people hate the Broncos, and they would go down because it'd be a team where they can get there in a couple hours.
And it's a good location. It's a good location for people to drive to.
It's like, shoot, let's take a whole weekend and just go down and enjoy the football game. Like, I don't know, the draft over there is going to be a party. Like, it's going to be insane.
So, ladies and gentlemen, my boys here, Leo Luna, we're gonna jump to the second down because we only have a few minutes with him. So, this guy has been my boy for a long time. We play flag football together. He's better than me. It's okay. I can let him know that. But he's actually a correspondent he's one of the he knows the inside and out a lot when it comes to 49ers. So I can't wait to get him on. Let's get him on right now. My guy Leo, what's up, man? How you doing, brother?
What's up? I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Perfect. Thank you for having me on once again.
Yeah, man. Brother. Thanks for coming on. So a lot to get into, Leo. I know that your 49ers and all that. We've had a running joke on Twitter about Mac Jones. Thank God it didn't happen. Thank God that wasn't the move. Can you tell us about how all that went about? What really was the reasoning? Was it a power struggle between Lynch and Shanahan, and who made the final decision? All that stuff.
So, from what I understand, like Mac Jones wasn't even in the discussion process. That it was actually Trey Lance from day one. Kyle Shanahan was in Mexico on vacation, doing what he does, watching film until midnight while on vacation. And then he hits up John Lynch to say, hey, you got to watch this Trey Lance kid. And John Lynch spent watching Trey Lance. They were on the same page with taking Trey Lance. They kept it between each other, let the media run whatever circles they wanted with Mac Jones because it fit this prototype of what Kyle Shanahan wanted. But yet you look at who he grew up around, his father. Who did his father have as a coach? He was the OC for Steve Young, played from the pocket, very mobile, and he was a head coach and won 2 Super Bowls with John Elway. Can play for the pocket as well as mobile, even at that older age. So that's what he gets with a guy like Trey Lance. Justin Fields was kind of the second shot in line, but what sold Kyle Shanahan on Trey Lance is he got a portion of the playbook that usually quarterbacks take about 2 weeks to learn that portion. Trey Lance called John Lynch back in 3 days and saying, hey, I love this. Do you got more? Just knowledgeable aspect of the game where Kyle Shanahan's like, yes, I want this guy that I can basically communicate with what's going on the field, and we can have those conversations, whether it's planning for a game or having those halftime adjustments.
Awesome. That's amazing. Brant, you got anything you want to ask?
I do. So for me personally, I think Jimmy Garoppolo is running on fumes with him there. Do you see a Tony Romo kind of takeover or a Tom Brady kind of takeover when it comes to how Garoppolo is going to end there?
It's just a very tough situation. I see him starting week 1 as of now, like until he's not on this team and someone is willing to give up a second round pick. I'm going to go ahead and just concede to he's going to be the week 1 starter. And the way the schedule lanes out with the first 2 games, those are very winnable games. I know your brother is a big time Eagles fan, but that week 2 game against the Eagles against Jalen Hurts the 49ers have no business losing that game. So it's just Jimmy Garoppolo could really be 2-0 once that season starts, but then the tougher games do come in where you have the Packers, you have the Seahawks coming in as well, the Arizona Cardinals. So those 3 games before the bye are going to be a tough stretch. And I really do. If Jimmy Garoppolo is just decent after week 2 or just decent within those first 5 games, I could see Trey Lance taking over if it's 3-2, the team record. Kind of like what the Dolphins did with Tua, basically, if you look at it from that perspective.
See, I'm just trying to figure out if Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be able to stay healthy long enough to be a productive quarterback this year. Because, I mean, he's got that bug.
Yeah, the offensive line is a lot better. And I think the biggest thing with the injuries is when does it start affecting his play? And it looks like it's already been there to where he's just throwing the ball up. You saw in the Super Bowl, he was throwing the ball with his eyes closed for an interception. So I think that it's very big from a mental aspect with Jimmy Garoppolo. And I think that's why Trey Lance is eventually going to find his way as a starter this season.
Definitely agree with you on that, Leo. Ryan.
Yeah. Hey, Leo, thanks for coming on with us, man. We really appreciate it. I want to know, what is the temperature in San Francisco right now? Like, obviously the rest of the NFL went nuts with this whole pick with going back and forth the way you just described, but what's the temperature in general over there? Like, it doesn't seem like at wide receiver they're feeling too strong. I'm curious what the outlook for 2021 looks like out of San Francisco, out of the Bay.
So with the 49ers, everyone's expecting them to be a playoff team. Because even how I see it is, I think this is a top 5 roster in the NFL. I think they're definitely top 10 roster in the NFL. If not everyone agrees with the top 5, they're definitely top 10. So it should be a playoff team. They get in the playoffs last year if they had maybe someone better than Nick Mullins or CJ Beathard starting at quarterback. So it seems they have a good control over the division. The division's definitely always going to be tough games, but hell, they beat the Cardinals with CJ Beathard. They beat the Rams with Nick Mullins, and they almost beat the Seahawks with CJ Beathard in a game that the Seahawks really wanted to win. So as far as like what's the outlook, I think everyone's expecting playoffs. Honestly, it's going to come down to the quarterback position. Is Jimmy Garoppolo going to struggle? Is Trey Lance going to come in and have that rookie wall that he's struggling to read defenses coming from the FCS? Yeah, he can learn a playbook, but yet he's going to see very exotic looks that he didn't see at a school like North Dakota State. And that's ultimately what it's going to come down to, because roster-wise, they should absolutely be in the playoffs.
Leo, for me, I know that there's been, I don't think there's been any rumblings. I know you could shed some light on this. If we see Kyle Shanahan have another down year, well, let's just say, unfortunately, hopefully, knock on wood, it's not has to do with injuries, but if it does, do you see that impacting the coaching future for him in San Fran, or do you think his place there is cemented no matter what this team does in 2021?
Right. Well, they've made the playoffs once out of 4 years and been pretty bad those 3 years, and I think he could afford one more, say, losing season and say 10-loss season, double-digit loss season. I think he could afford one more. But if he has back-to-back double-digit loss seasons moving forward, even with the pick like Trey Lance, this is something I've talking with other content creators or that covers the 49ers is I think the worrisome with Kyle Shanahan is it could be his Browns like it was for Bill Belichick, to where that was his first go-around. Had a playoff appearance. You see the promise, but yet the team's just not able to get over the edge or just be consistently good. As well as I think it's always up in the air with the 49ers front office as well. You don't really have too much confidence with Jed York there. I think that's the worrisome with the 49ers is it being Bill Belichick's Browns, because if he goes somewhere else, this guy's an offensive genius and he can make average quarterbacks like Jimmy Garoppolo into a Super Bowl. Like, what has Matt Ryan? I think Matt Ryan's a good quarterback, but what has he done since Shanahan left? Not really much.
Nothing.
So it's Shanahan. If he's able to get back on the open market again, he could end up, almost every team is going to want him. Besides, say the Rams, since they have Sean McVay, he's going to have a lot of desirable destinations. To where that's why we say, like, hopefully it works out, or else this is going to be his Browns.
Yes, sir. One more from me, and then I'll let the other guys talk. I know I tweeted you, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, about Aaron Rodgers. Now I know the talk, blowing smoke screens or this and that. I loved your tweet. Why not talk to someone who just won the MVP?
Yeah.
But with that being said, Leo, there's still turmoil. We were just about to talk about it. There's still turmoil inside that organization with Aaron Rodgers. They offered him supposedly a 3-year deal worth $45 million a season. If that being said, Leo, and if let's just say in July and August something happens and it's not working out, could you see yourself as the Niners and having that conversation with Green Bay again, maybe revisit those talks? Because I'm going to tell you right now, for me personally, your team inside and out, but if Rodgers goes to the Niners, I think it's game over. So would you give the haul to Green Bay? Like, what would be in your mind that would be, okay, you know what, we got to get this done. Let's get this trade done. Would that be something that would cross your mind?
I think it would be something that crosses my mind and everyone in that office over there in Santa Clara. The problem is you're going to have better offers if you're the Packers. You don't have your next 2 first-round picks. So you're going to offer Packers first-round picks for, what is that, 2024 and 2025, when you're going to have like a team like Denver offering 2022 and 2023. And I think that's the wall that they're going to basically run into, is they're out of that first-round pick draft capital, at least for the next 2 years. Right. Why would Green Bay take a second for the next 2 years when they could definitely get 2 ones for Aaron Rodgers? But you're still going to pick up that phone and maybe hope that you get lucky. Because Trey Lance, he's an FCS guy. They may want him to sit a couple years, and Jed York already said publicly that that's something he would be okay with, is if Trey Lance sat for 2 seasons. So I think that opens up the door for an Aaron Rodgers situation. I just don't see it getting done because of the draft capital that they lost in moving up to get Trey Lance.
Good call. I definitely agree with you. Brant?
Which games are you most excited to attend this year?
I'm gonna say it's gonna be that Colts game, that Sunday Night Football, Week 7, coming off of a bye. Is it gonna be Trey Lance? Is it gonna be Jimmy Garoppolo? Because that's certainly gonna come up after that bye week. Usually, I would say the Packers, because Aaron Rodgers, who wouldn't want to see that guy? Yet we've already seen that film so many times. This will be the first time you see an all-pro defensive lineman, DeForest Buckner, who you thought was going to be a centerpiece of the franchise, and then you trade him off. He has a year like he did with the Colts. So I'm going to say it's going to be that Week 7 Sunday night matchup against the Indianapolis Colts, because they're a hell of a good team, and the 49ers were also in the mix for Carson Wentz. They did call Philadelphia. They did offer Philadelphia. So, there's kind of a interest on the Colts offensive side as well as on their defensive side.
I like it. Ryan?
To kind of piggyback what you were talking about earlier, if Shanahan's in the hot seat and say it is a rough year, and you're looking at I would consider anything below 500 would obviously be a pretty disappointing year coming from a guy that said you should be making the playoffs. Say that does happen. Now, what about Lynch? What's his seat looking like? Is it getting warm? I mean, I want to say in the past 20 years, you guys have had 4 or 5 different GMs, and this will be his 4th year tenure going into his 5th. What do you think the temperature on his seat would be if you guys have another disappointing season?
I would say Lynch is definitely going to go before Kyle Shanahan. The bigger decision makings that's been done, at least recently, it's been Kyle Shanahan. Like, they made that haul to go get Trey Lance, And yet that was Kyle Shanahan's decision, and John Lynch didn't really have a say. He was just like, all right, that's your guy. Let's roll with it. And from what I understand, he's not really making too much of the big decisions anyways. They like
that was my next question.
Yeah, they like their other scouts within that building a little more than John Lynch, and he's just kind of that face of the franchise that Kyle Shanahan doesn't have to be at the moment. And someone like Kyle Shanahan, who can care less about the media, enjoys crap like that. So he's more of the face of the franchise for them than the decision maker. They would probably let him go. Well, they would let him go before Kyle Shanahan. Jed Yorks made that mistake once when he let Jim Harbaugh go to keep his GM, Trent Baalke, who's over there trying to fix the Jaguars now.
I like it. I
agree.
Leo, when it comes to the draft, I'm going to shift away from the Niners. When it comes to the draft, what was your biggest reach and what was your biggest steal?
Biggest reach. Man, that's a good question. I would say probably the biggest reach would have been Mac Jones. Who was really going to take that guy if he passed New England? From what I've heard, a lot of people had him as like a second round quarterback. No one really, from what I know, that studies the game and watches the film, thought he was a first round quarterback. Yet he ended up going 15. I think New England could have gotten someone better. That linebacker from New England. I'm blanking on his name. He has a 3 name.
JOK?
Yeah, JOK. Yeah, JOK. He fits what Bill Belichick likes to do. He could go do anything. He could play, inside backer. He could go rush the quarterback off the edge. He could go cover tight ends. He could do basically anything that Bill Belichick will ask of him. So I thought that would have been a better pick instead of Mac Jones. You still have Cam Newton there, and your offenses are just going to look ugly now because you have Cam Newton, who's designed a certain playbook, and then Mac Jones, who can't do any of that. Literally none of that playbook that Cam Newton does. So it's just not a good fit in my mind, at least with those two quarterbacks on the roster, because it's definitely not going to be Jarrett Stidham as QB2. It's going to be QB1, QB2. And then the biggest steal, it's obviously going to be Justin Fields for me. The fact that he fell outside of the top 10, the Bears, look what the 49ers had to do to go from 15, or excuse me, that they had to go from 12 to 3. They gave up 2 future ones and then invest that current year selection. The Bears, they just invested a future one and got a guy at 11. And it's someone that they probably didn't even find realistic once the draft process started after the season ended. So Justin Fields, I still think he is the better pick, even though I hope Trey Lance has a Hall of Fame career, obviously from my coverage standpoint. But I think Justin Fields was definitely the best pick and got to steal me if falling to 11.
You're muted, Drew.
Yep.
Brant, final question you got for Leo?
Who is your favorite 49er that you have watched play?
Favorite 49er that I've watched play, I think you have those historic 49ers like Ronnie Lott. When I was a little kid playing tackle football, I wore number 42 because of him. You have Joe Montana, obviously, Steve Young, Jerry Rice. But just for myself, as more as a sentimental standpoint, it's going to be Frank Gore. I grew up a Miami Hurricane fan. So when he got drafted to the 49ers, I was ecstatic. And then his first preseason game, I was just, a young kid. My dad took at him while he's standing on the sideline as a rookie. And then he's just like, yeah, I'll be over there after the game. Be over there after the game. I still kept bugging him, even though he said that, because I didn't believe it. All those professional athletes say that. Literally, once that clock hit 0, that's the first thing he did. He ran over, signed my hat, and then he had a Hall of Fame career from there. So I'm definitely saying Frank Gore is the most exciting watch for him. Hopefully he gets another chance this year. We'll see.
You're muted.
Ryan. Sorry, my son.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Okay, let's do one for the fantasy owners out there. Who's going to be the running back to own for the 49ers?
Oh man, I think it's eventually going to be Trey Sermon. It may not be from week 1 through week 4, but definitely once you get to that playoff time or just that playoff stretch, I think it's going to be Trey Sermon because the fact that Shanahan took him so early, and what he can do from the aspect, he can catch out of the backfield. No one really talks about that because you look at those final 2 games he played in against Northwestern, went off from the rushing, and then when he played against Clemson, he went off rushing as well. But if you watch a lot of Justin Fields' film, he dumps it off to Trey Sermon quite a bit, and he even had good hands at Oklahoma when he was there with Baker as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Trey Sermon, he's a decent enough. I think he'll get better as a pass protector. He didn't really have to do that too much in college to give him a true grade on it. But it's Trey Sermon. He's going to go crazy in a Kyle Shanahan offense, one cut running back, kind of like say since we just spoke about him, Frank Gore. Frank Gore is a one cut running back, and yet Trey Sermon may not shock you from a 40-yard dash perspective, but that's kind of a little overblown with the running backs.
Definitely agree. Leo, my man, I always appreciate you coming on, brother. I know you got all the inside information when it comes to this stuff, so I appreciate it, man. I definitely want to have you come back on mid-season.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much for behalf of Brant and Brian and me.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
I appreciate you guys. Definitely come back. Talk to you soon.
See you, Leo. Awesome, man. That was Leo Luno. He's one of the insiders for Sports Illustrated for the San Francisco 49ers. I know that kid for a while, man. Really good guy. Guys, that was awesome. I had a lot of fun, a lot of knowledge there. All right, boys, let's get into it real quick. We're going to finish up a couple more topics. Tebow Mania, is it upon us? Ryan, is it time for us to just accept the fact that Tebow will not go away?
It's like, bro, just get a real job. Like, there's offers out there, man. Go be an analyst somewhere. I appreciate Tebow. I mean, you have a harder time finding a better guy or better human being in this world. Like, everybody loves him, especially if you come from, like, the Bible Belt standpoint. Like, the guy's the ultimate. I'm a Christian first, and I live my life second. Good on him. I love him to death. The reality was the last time he played in the NFL, Trevor Lawrence was 14 years old. It's like, come on, my guy. I think here's the reality. This is what's going to happen. Is he going to get an opportunity? Sure. Is everybody going to go crazy when he signs a 1-year deal? Absolutely. You know what's not going to happen? He's not going to be on the roster week 1. You know, like his last opportunity, he actually signed a 2-year deal with the Pats, and he got cut. So just because he gets signed, guys, does not mean he's going to be he's not going to be on the ticker. You're not going to buy any tickets in Jacksonville with Tim Tebow's picture on it. He won't be there. I just think it's time to let it go, Tim. It's time to let it go.
Well, Mrs. Negative Nancy's down here below. I don't think it's time to let it go. Go for it, Tim. You get a shot. Go for it. I don't care. Listen, I had an argument last night on Facebook about linking him with Colin Kaepernick. There's no link at all whatsoever. The only reason why he's getting looked at is because he is butt buddies with Urban Meyer. That's it. That's the only reason why he's getting a shot. Now, can he play tight end? I don't think so. Not even close. I think they're just putting him at tight end so that eventually he can become backup quarterback. I really think that's what he's doing. Ryan Clark said it on ESPN, and I kind of believe it. Michael Vick said it on Undisputed. I think they really want him to be a backup quarterback to Trevor Lawrence, and I think that's the only reason why they have him signing tight end. I don't think he's going to line up a tight end at all. I don't see it happening. H-back, sure. Gadget player, sure. Morale guy, most definitely. Transition into a coach, possibly. But I'm with Ryan. I would love to see him in a booth and talking about the game, because there's one thing you cannot say against him. His IQ is off the charts. He's a very good analyst. He knows how to talk. We see him on ESPN with college football. I mean, he even puts me up, and I'm nowhere near in the shape or in the age to be able to play college football. So, Brant, is it upon us?
There's a really good chance. I'm going to read off some names for you right here, okay? Tyler Davis, Ben Ellisfin, Chris Manhertz, and James O'Shaughnessy. Oh, let's not forget the 5th-round pick, Luke Farrell. There is nobody on that list that does anything for anybody. So there is a shot. Like, don't get me wrong. Tebow is 33. He is well past his prime. But, if he can get out there and be a poor man's Taysom Hill, you go for it. You do it.
That's right, baby.
Hey, Taysom Hill likes the jump pass. Tebow can do the jump pass.
You damn right he can. You damn right.
It's honestly, it's Jacksonville, right? Like, that's where he's from. That's where he grew up. We know what it is. He'd play against Georgia in Jacksonville. It's a hometown thing. Sure, why not? Go have some fun. Oh, he's not any worse than any of the other 5 names I just listed, so he could definitely make some noise. Worst tight end roster in the league by far.
Oh, by far. I saw something. I think it was this morning. Jaguars should be talking to the Eagles over the services of Zach Ertz. I would be making that call. I think that would be huge for the rookie, Trevor Lawrence. But I'm not the GM. I'm just a guy. So, we talked about a little bit with Leo. Reports are saying that Green Bay Packers have offered disgruntled quarterback Aaron Rodgers $45 million a season for the next 3 years. Is there enough to salvage his broken relationship? I'm going to start it off right now, boys, and tell you there's absolutely nothing that they can do to salvage this relationship. We're talking about the ultimate DICK. All right? This guy doesn't even talk to his own mom. He don't even talk to his dad or his brother over the last time I heard it was over pettiness. And you think that this is going to fix him because you didn't help him out? He's been begging for help. People say he's gotten help. I say, no, he's made the help better. He has never gotten a legit let's just call it a 5-star athlete in the first round for an offensive side. So, guys, my question to you is this relationship broken, Brant?
Yes, 100%. I don't think there's any fixing it. I think even if they took out the GM and, everyone above him out, I don't think it's going to fix this. I think if you give him more money, it's just going to entitle him even more to become even more of a dick.
I was just about to ask you that, Ryan. I was just about to say that. Can there be a figure out there where Aaron Rodgers is like, okay, I'll show up. I'll stop all the drama. I'll stop all the divaness. And I don't even know if that's a word, but I just created it.
Give him some ownership rights.
Give it some. I don't think a player can, but
you can't there.
No, you can't. No.
Oh, that's true. You can't. They are. That's true. Good call. But, Ryan, is there anything that they can do?
No, it's over. It's spent. It's done. Even Vegas is telling you. Vegas opened up the New Orleans Saints as a favorite over the Green Bay Packers. If Vegas is telling you something, 100%. No, not even destination. Just talking about the New Orleans Saints are favored over Green Bay.
Gotcha.
Yeah. The Vegas lines opened up with the schedule being brought out. But what I'm saying is Vegas always has an inside thing on everything. Millions and millions of dollars are passed around daily in that location. If they're saying something, then there's something to be listened to. It's over. It's done. Gutekunst is gone next year. It's a joke, and it's sad. I can't believe they did it. Like, it's just make that one guy happy, and you're going to be a good team. And they didn't, and then now here comes the downward spiral.
Sorry, I'm
you're good.
Over here. My bad.
It's over. It's done.
It's over. I definitely agree with you. It's gonna be really interesting to see how this is gonna play out, guys, during training camp and preseason, because there's fantasy owners out there that have Aaron Rodgers. And the NFC North, I think we all could agree here. The NFC North would definitely be up for grabs if Aaron Rodgers doesn't play. Let's just say he retires. I'm going Minnesota Vikings all day long. So,
all right.
Quiet, Brant. Indianapolis Colts have signed offensive tackle Eric Fisher, who tore his Achilles last year with the Chiefs, to a one-year deal worth around $9.4 million. Great, okay, terrible signing. Brant.
Great signing.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Eric Fisher's still a really good player. He wasn't the reason the offensive line for the Chiefs choked it out in the Super Bowl. Wentz is going to need as much help as he can get, so bringing in an offensive tackle, it's a good thing.
My boy David Jones, last year, he was one of our biggest supporters. Happy to have him back on finally. Awesome, brother. Awesome. We know this guy.
Hey,
how you doing? Thank you. For me, I'm in the middle, Brant, and here's why. It's an okay signing because it fills a need, it fills a void, but I think they paid too much for a guy that's not going to start to possibly mid-October. So I mean, he's not going to show up in the beginning part of the season, and I just told you those 5 games the Colts have to play. So I mean, they're not going to have him. So I mean, it's going to be? It's a lot of money to pay somebody to not show up and play for, let's say 6 games, but, I 85.5 rating last year in PFF, one of the highest rated tackles, I think only allowed 3 penalties last year, and he only allowed 3 sacks or something like that. I got my numbers mixed up probably, but one of the best tackles in the game, Ryan. Great, okay, or terrible signing, as we hear the P's icing Brant's balls.
My wife just bring me a new bag. This shit was I was defrosting them too quick.
Golly,
dude. What an interesting night. You know what? I'm right in between you guys for both the same reasons. I'll tell you this: you're not going to find a tackle that started more games in the past 4 years than him. 113 out of 117. And you're right. He didn't hurt them in the Super Bowl because he wasn't there. He tore his Achilles. So it's his availability. Is he going to come back healthy? Is he going to be okay? Another reason why it's more okay is Chris Ballard's actually one of the reasons why he was in Kansas City. He was a front office guy. It was one of his picks. He had a big say in that pick from what I read online just not too long ago. So I'm surprised he didn't get a little bit more of a sweetheart deal. I know that he was just cut for cap space, not based on how good he is. So I think it's going to be a great signing if he can stay healthy. It's going to be an okay signing if he's if he plays 8 games or less. It's an okay signing for me.
I agree. Okay, boys, we got to it now. 3rd down. So I had the guys do the game. We did our power rankings. We averaged it out. Alex didn't do it because he's not here, so we don't care. So before I reveal it, I think it's pretty obvious we have our top 5. But I want to see, because we all 3 had a completely different power ranking list. What is your guys' guess for number 32? Brant?
Oh, Houston.
Ryan?
I Houston.
Yeah, you didn't have Houston as 32.
I'm just assuming everybody did.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then you guys got to, you sons of freaking crap. I was supposed to get someone.
I had Houston at 31, so I knew they were there.
Would you have the Jets in the bottom?
Lions.
Ooh, all right.
All right, boys. Here we go. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers come up as first for our team. Chiefs are 2. Buffalo Bills are at 3. Packers are at 4 as of right now, people. As of right now, because we think Aaron Rodgers is going to play. 5 is the Brown. I didn't do the S because I didn't care about Alex, so I just did the Brown. I'm shocked the Browns are 5, to be honest with you. Baltimore Ravens are 6. Rams are 7. Titans, I think, is the most interesting team in the top 10 for us. 9 is Seahawks. 10 is the Niners. Let's just talk about the top 10. Brant, is there any issues that you see here in the top 10, and what team surprised you the most?
San Francisco for me. I had them down near 15, 16 range. So
you
I'm
had them down.
Yeah, I was a little surprised. I also have the Ravens above the Browns. But everything else in there looks pretty good. But the Niners I have down a little bit farther.
Okay. Ryan?
You know what? I'm looking at mine right now. Mine's pretty much on par with all of our picks, to be honest with you. So, no, I get why the 49ers could be down there, but the reality is like Leo said earlier, they were playing up with backup quarterbacks the whole time and winning some pretty clutch games. I think if they have a starter that's out there from training camp week 1, that's going to be a very tough team to beat, but they do have a pretty tough schedule. I think that's fully on par with what I think the outlook of at least the first half of the season.
So I'm gonna be completely 1,000% honest with you guys. I don't mind the Titans being at 8. I think they're such a hot and cold team, but I love what they did with their draft. So I'm a believer in Mike Vrabel, and I'm also a believer in running Derrick Henry more than 50 times a game. So with that being said, the Seahawks at 9. I don't like it. I do not like it. I would easily flip the Colts or the Chargers or the Steelers over the Seahawks. For me personally, no offensive line. I don't like their defense. There's absolutely no one they have in secondary besides Jamal, who somehow does not know how to cover. So I mean, I don't like the Seahawks at all, Ryan.
You know what? I don't disagree with you, and I felt the same way last year. And they went 12-4. You know what I mean? It's Russ, man. Russ just finds ways to win games. He's a winner. And actually, I had a lot of trouble picking the Seahawks because I'm right there with you. I go and look at their depth chart. I looked at their draft. I'm like, they've had 3 picks in this draft, so it's not like they did anything. And I'm like, they're not going to be that good. And then I go back and I look, and 12-4, man, it's hard to contest that. It's hard to contest it.
If you have a top-tier quarterback, it raises you up automatically.
100%.
I definitely listen. I 1,000% agree with the both of you. But here's my issue with that. Last year, the 49ers were depleted. They were depleted. Now they're going to go against the 49ers defense that's completely rebuilt. They're good to go. Bosa is back. Like, people are forgetting. I think people are just forgetting what kind of havoc this man can wreak on your team with already an incomplete offensive line for Seattle that has absolutely no business being out there for a running game. Chris Carson has nowhere to run because, 1, he has a bad offensive line, and 2, he's always hurt. There's nothing good on this offense besides Russell Wilson. I 1,000% agree with you guys. Yes, I love DK. Yes, I love Tyler Lockett, but you don't have time in the pocket to throw the ball to make them good. So that's why it's an issue for me to have the Seahawks on the top 10, but I get your reason. I'm a huge Russ Wilson fan, and when we do our 1 to 32 quarterback rankings, I'm pretty sure all of us will agree that he's in the top 5. So I get that. But for me, man, no secondary, no offensive line. Their best 2 players is Wagner and Adams on defense, and Adams can't cover. So there's got to be issues here that we have to pick apart to say that they're not a top 10 team easily, more than I could say about the Steelers, who actually addressed some issues that they did during the draft. So as you see, that's the top 10. Let's go to the 11 to 20. We got the Steelers coming in at number 11, just missing the top 10. Our Los Angeles Chargers, Ryan, come in at number 12, which I'm a little shocked. I thought they'd be 15. 13, what is the Colts? 14 is the Cowboys. 15 is the Dolphins. 16 is the Cardinals. 17 is the Saints. 18 is the Washington football team with a little logo. 19 is the Vikings. And 20 is the Patriots. Brant, anything here that catches you by surprise?
Miami's a little higher than I thought they would be. I don't have full faith in Tua right now. I think I had him closer down. At 20. So
20.
Yeah, I had him at 20. I'm not a big believer in Tua right now, and the Cowboys I don't think are the best team in the division because of their coach. I think their coach is the big hindrance, so I had them a little bit lower too.
Okay. Ryan.
Yeah, I'm fully on board with that. Again, this kind of runs coincides with pretty close to what I was looking at. I just don't think the Cowboys are going to be good. Like you said, McCarthy, I don't know what he brings to the table. I don't know. I thought it was a weird hire a year ago. And Dak's back, so it's like, oh, they're going to be better. We'll see. It's to be seen. Everything else I'm pretty on par with. Miami's a little high. I think I actually had them higher in my draft, but they're falling on my board as of right now.
For me, guys, personally, I think what?
As I said, the Saints too. Like, hold on.
Yeah. For me personally, I have the Cowboys in my top 12. I think the Cowboys are going to be a solid team this year, especially with Parsons at linebacker. I'm just a huge fan. Great fit. We're really gonna see what's gonna happen with Dan Quinn and this defense. They got to go against Tampa Bay opening night, and then they got to go against the Chargers week 2. It's going to be a tough 2-game stretch for the Cowboys, and we're going to see what this defense could do. Dat being back pays dividends because we saw what happens with Dalton and I can't even say the guy's last name. What was the dude behind it? Lucchesi or something like that? I don't even know his name. It sounded like an Italian dish. But anyways, I got the Cowboys. I got the Cowboys a little high. I'm a little shocked, and I think we all agree. The Colts. Let me just play devil's advocate with you guys real quick. If Phillip Rivers came back and played with the Colts, would the Colts be higher on your list, Brant?
Probably, yeah.
Where would you put him?
On my list, I had Indy at 15. I'd probably have them closer to 10.
Okay, Ryan?
I trust Phillip Rivers. I don't trust Wentz.
Yeah, I have them jumping as well. I would have them probably 8 to 10, somewhere in that range. But I already had them at 11 in my personal. I think the Colts are just good. There's no question about it. They don't need a great quarterback to win games, in my opinion. I think that line's good enough. They have a great defense, and their running back proved last year that he can handle a load towards the end of the season. I think they should have given him a load earlier. He's going to be nasty this year. Yeah.
Oh my God. The team for me that scares me the most in the top from 11 to 20 is the Arizona Cardinals. Just because of the lack of ability Kyle Murray was showing from being hurt in the second half of the season. If you saw his numbers dwindled down, guys, in fantasy. In reality, it wasn't good. QBR was down, CP was down, PR was down. I mean, this to me seems like it has to be that make it or break it type of year, because I believe this is going to be his third year or second year.
Third.
Is this his third year? Yeah. So I mean, it has to, we're gonna see a lot this year because they added they added another weapon. They added to the running game, to the defense. We'll see what happens with Arizona. Saints. I think Saints is the biggest question
mark. How did
mark.
they end up in the top 17? Seriously, they lost Drew Brees, who's one of the best quarterbacks of all time. They are lacking on defense. That team's gonna be going down fast.
I think I think you're just mad because Washington's below them.
Look, I get the Washington ranking. Like, don't get me wrong. In this 10 to 20 range, the most unknown team is Washington, right? Like, they went 6-1 with Alex Smith. They lost with Haskins. They have one of the best defense, and they added to it. They have really good stuff on the outside. They brought in some good wide receivers, got a good running back, got a good tight end. Literally, our only question mark is how does Ryan Fitzpatrick do at quarterback? And John Suggs can go eat one. But there's so much unknown with how well will Fitzpatrick play. Is he going to be the guy that comes in and, the one that took over for Tua to win games, or is he going to be the one that was benched for Tua to begin with?
I'm gonna tell you something, and I might be, just shouting out a little bit of pre-joy here. But when we do our fantasy rankings and all this stuff during, in August, which I'm so excited about, man, I might have Fitzmagic as by one of my sleepers for fantasy. Honestly, Antonio Davis, Logan Thomas, and
McLaurin, Diami Brown,
Curtis Samuel. I mean, this offense has the potential to do something good. I mean, Brant will probably have a big boner by just having more than 2 touchdowns.
Not right now. That shit would hurt.
Now,
no pun intended. No pun intended.
I bet you. So, in my personal, I had the Saints at 13. I'm sure that's going to shock Brant. I'll tell you this.
23.
Wow, that's low, bro. The past 2 seasons, Drew Brees has missed 9 games. You know what their record is? 8-1. I'm just saying, Sean Payton, he's a guy that figures. I'm not saying they're better without Brees. There's no chance. We don't disagree.
It's going to be Winston, right? So like a 30 touchdown, 30 interception guy.
Well, I mean, we'll see. Is Winston going to be starting, or is Taysom going to be playing? I think they're going to go back and forth. It might be a 50-50.
We got a question for the group. Who will have a better defense, Patriots or the Bears? Ryan?
Bears for me. I think the Pats have a good defense, but it's hard to deny anything with Khalil Mack. Like that team won them the end of the season. There's a reason why they went 8-8, and it was the defense, not the offense. They have a stellar defense in Chicago.
Brant?
Pats, because they're getting people that didn't play last year back. They had a lot of opt-outs last year. I think probably the most out of any teams that I had seen. I think there's a lot of talent on that defense. You know they're going to need it.
John, I hate you, and I'm going to say the Patriots. The Patriots for me. A lot of opt-outs. I do think that with the players that they have coming back and the biggest free agent signing of all time for the Patriots this past offseason was kidding. Old boy from Miami. I can't even think of his name right now. They kept to come back. What was his name? Nikovic? Did Nikovic come back? That's right. He came back.
He's there.
David Jones is a Saints fan. 8-1 off of defensive special teams.
Yep. Absolutely. They didn't need Breeze to win. And I think that's why a whole season without Breeze is going to be interesting, but that's still a good team. That's a good team over there in New Orleans.
I think Jameis Winston can handle. I think if he started, he can handle the load that Sean Payton would ask him to do. That's just me personally, just throwing it out there.
Bruce Arians will smile if he gets to play against Jameis Winston twice this year.
Well, he'll show him a ring too. 21. Oh my God, here we go. 21-32. Chicago Bears coming at 21. I thought they were a little too low. The Giants at 22, the Falcons at 23, the Panthers at 24, the Raiders at 25, the Broncos at 26. Hold on. Sorry, I had my brother call me. The Jaguars at 27, Bengals at 28.
What, does he not know what you do on Wednesday nights? What's going on?
I don't know, man. It's been a weird Wednesday. Lions at 29, Eagles at 30, Jets at 31, Houston Texans at 32. Brant, I'm sorry, I'm with you. Is there a team here that you could potentially see go in the top 15?
The Falcons. They found some stupid ways to lose last year. Not everybody not touching the onside kick. I mean, they worked hard to choke a couple of those games. So I definitely see that they could, go a little bit. Also, with I'm assuming the Bears are going to go with Fields, right? Like they're not going to actually go with the Red Rocket. And I think they could go a little bit higher as well.
Ryan, same question.
100% the Bears. The Bears could easily jump at the top 15 if he could just manage the ball and not throw it around like crazy. Another kicker would be Aaron Rodgers. Say he ends up in Denver. Obviously, the Broncos get a big nod up there. I would say in the top 15, even could jump to the top 12, in my opinion. Outside that, everybody else, they're all. This is the bottom half for a reason. These are trash teams. Trash.
You guys, you know what, guys? I'm very disappointed in both of you. All right, I'm gonna tell you right now why I'm disappointed in both of you. Okay, he has a nickname, Danny Dimes.
Oh, get out of
here! Be in the top.
Oh my God! Giants gonna pick top 4 next year.
In the top 15, Danny Dimes is my number 1 fantasy sleeper at quarterback. I'm telling you that right now. I was wrong last year. I'm gonna be right this year. I don't care.
Okay.
I'll tell you right now.
I'm here for it
right now. I'm telling you. They got the receivers they need. They got Galladay. They got Shepard. I think Ingram will finally have a healthy year. They got an offensive line back. They got Barkley back. Watch out for the New York Giants. Watch out.
Fall down even farther on this list. Yes, agreed.
No. This is funny because when we were talking about who had the best offseason about 4 weeks ago, and I said the Giants, everybody laughed in my face, thought I was an idiot. Now I got my boy Drew over here jumping on the bandwagon a little bit. I see it.
Well, hold on here. Hold on. Hey, hold on here just a minute. Okay. I didn't like the Kenny Galladay signing terms to the contract. Okay, the contract was a little way too much. He's not a number 1, but I think it will work out. Okay, so easy. John Suggs, Cardinals had the best offseason. I kind of agree. did the Bengals? We talked about this last week, John, but I love to revisit it. Did Bengals F up and not get Sewell? Burrow won't be back till late October, early November. They need a solid guy to protect the quarterback. Ryan is already saying yes, and Brant is saying.
I mean, I mocked Jamar Chase, so I was happy to be right. But yeah, Sewell was the pick there.
100%.
No one asked you if you're happy about being right.
I'm both.
I thought it was one of the most idiotic first round picks in this recent draft, John.
So unless he turns into Julio, right? If he turns into Julio, then I guess it's like, oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's not happening. And so, with that being said, Sewell should have been the pick. You got to protect your investment. You got to protect your most important investment in the world, in your franchise, is Joe Burrow. He's literally rehabbing right now because of lack of protection. What can receivers do? How can they be good if you don't have time to throw in the pocket? He's not going to have time to throw in the pocket if they don't fix that offensive line. So I think it's a bad pick. So with that being said, guys, we're looking at the bottom 32. This obviously is going to change. This is just for right now. We also have another guy, Alex, who's going to throw in his 32 list next time we do this. So it's going to be really wacky next time we do it, because it's going to be really interesting to see how these teams are going to progress when we do this again in August. Anything else you guys want to add on this power rankings?
Yeah, let's talk about this for a second. To date, to memory, can you remember a team having a worse, let's call it 24 months, than the Houston Texans? Like, think about where they've gone from. Like, their star quarterback, they just signed him a bunch of money. Now he's been catching hand jobs for the past 2 years and doing all kinds of stuff. Now, they lose their GM, which is their head coach. I literally can't fathom what has happened in Houston. It's terrible. It's sad.
Yeah,
I don't know. Philly's pretty close. They've had some rough goes there. The amount of money they took the hit on, it's not as bad, but it's like 1A, 1B. Those by far are the two worst jobs that existed this offseason. And where they're at financially is another.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Oh, financially, they're it's not looking good for Philly. And I mean, we could talk a whole 2-hour episode on just the Philadelphia Eagles. For me, I think we could possibly see the Lions move up a little bit, move up in a positive way. I do like the draft picks they did, and all the moves they made. So. Them and the Jaguars are very interesting to me to see how they're going to move up in these power rankings for us, and to see what they do during training camp in the season. Because if Urban Meyer succeeds, that means Alex is going to get more red. So I mean, it's a win-win for us. Guys, that's it for our power rankings. We are on our final take. Brant, what's your final thing you have to say for us for the week, brother?
So I pulled up the strength of schedule, right? So Washington and the Chargers are literally right there beside each other. The Chargers, their opponents is .493 and Washington's .504. So literally right there. The three worst, that just doesn't seem fair, is the Eagles have the easiest, then the Cowboys, Falcons, Bucks, and Dolphins. So Tom Brady has the fourth easiest schedule. And the four hardest schedules is the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Ravens, the Bears, and the Packers.
Oh, okay.
That's
so the NFL doesn't like North divisions. Got it. Got it. Ryan.
My final take, it's time to make a claim. For me personally, I give Ben Roethlisberger, this is his last year, in my opinion. I think that the time has come. He's going to have another off year, and the reality is it's going to be time to move off. And I want to hear Pittsburgh fans, if we have any out there, dude, come in next week. I'd love to hear more about it, because I genuinely think this is Ben's last year, and it's time for him to hang it up.
Wow. I already made 2 claims. I don't need to make any more. Guys, this is awesome. I love that we did something different tonight. Thank you for Leo for coming on. Give us about 10 to 15 minutes of his time. That dude is constantly busy through Twitter and all that stuff. So I appreciate him coming on and giving us a little bit of information on the insides of what's going on with San Francisco and all that madness that they created on draft day. That was really, really cool of him to come by. Hope Alex gets better. Not really. Alex and Brian, I hope to see you guys fight when Browns play, man. It's going to be freaking funny, dude. I can't wait.
Oh, I'm all over.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait when we come on Wednesday and the Chargers win. Oh, my God.
He's going to show up sick again. Sick day.
Yeah. Sick.
All these sick days.
I don't know. I just want to say you might be one of the ballsiest individuals trying to go to an Eagles game in Philadelphia wearing an Outsider's jersey. Just want that out there.
So we are looking at getting tickets. He just wrote on there, my brother did, getting good tickets to Philly. We will stay at Brian Attard's house. He already knows. So, if it happens, it happens. But I've always wanted to go to Philly. And let me tell you something. I don't know if you guys ever seen that video. Remember that video with, I believe, I don't know what team it was, but he was at the Cleveland Browns Stadium. And they won the game, and he took the film and filmed everybody's reactions. That's gonna be me. That would be me.
It's one thing when it's in Cleveland. When you're in Philly, they beat up their own fans. So be careful. Be careful.
It's all right. It's okay. I'm prepared. I hope it happens. If it happens, if it doesn't, it doesn't. And so we'll see what happens there. Guys, on behalf of Brant, Ryan, and myself, thank you for tuning in tonight. Thank you for everybody who's going to tune in later on the week and watch it because it's super, hard to do it on Wednesday nights. But we appreciate the support. We appreciate the comments, and hopefully Alex will be back next week, and we will dive back into our divisions for each of the drafts and recap that and recap what's going on around the NFL world and probably talk about Tebow more. Until then, we'll see you guys next week, and we are out.
Thank you for watching this episode of Game Winning Drive on the Sports Box. Please remember to follow us on all of our social media outlets. On Facebook at Sportsbox Show, Twitter at Sportsbox Show, Instagram at The Sportsbox Show. Find us on YouTube and join Outside the Box, our Facebook sports discussion group. The Sports Box is brought to you by our sponsor, Showcase Sports in Hamilton. Showcase Sports for the elite athlete. And also our friends over at CrowdPlay. Download the free CrowdPlay app today and use promo code THEBOX at sign up for 10 free points. Thank you for joining us.